Good morning, everyone. In this video, we're going to look at the various types of planes and its formation. And I'm sure by the end of the video, you will be able to understand the concept in a very simple manner. Now, if you remember in the previous lesson, we learned about the different landforms such as mountains and plateaus. Now, this is the last part of your chapter, that is the planes. So let's begin the chapter. So the main goal of the chapter to understand what are planes, the different types of planes and its formation. Now, what is the plane? So, if you have to define a plane, plane is defined as an extensive area of what land? Lowland with a level or undulating surface. Level surface meaning very even surface. Undulating here means smooth rising or falling. Something little up and down. Not like mountains or plateaus with very steep side abruptly falling down or rising up, but plains will have a very gentle undulating surface, which means smooth rising or falling. Okay, so that is what is that how you define plains. And here I've given you a picture of a plain. So this is how a plain looks like: extensive meaning a massive large areas of level land or very undulating surface. Next, now, how are planes important to us? In the initial classes, we learned importance of landforms, importance of mountains, importance of plateaus. Now, today we will learn about the importance of plains. The first important importance of plains, if you look here, is says that plains are flat level land and are very fertile as they are formed by the deposition of sediments brought by different agents of erosion. Agents of erosion here could be wind, river, glaciers. So these are different agents of erosion. So because plains are watered by a number of rivers that flow through them, because that is how they are agriculturally very important, because they have a lot of fertile soil. So that's the first significance or importance of plains, is that they are rich in the fertile soils, they are rich in alluvium deposits, which makes them agriculturally very important. The second importance of plains is that the construction of roadways and railways can be done as conditions are very suitable, because it's a plain area. So plain area, it is very easy to construct different forms of transportation. That is why a very good network of transportation is found on the plains, which is not available on the mountains and the plateaus. So that is the second significance of plains: good development of transport. The third importance of plains, they have good network of transport, which has helped in the development of industries. So because they have good development of transport, that is why various industries have started to flourish in the plains, because of the favorable transport network. And the last, as the conditions are very suitable, because they have fertile soil, because they have good network of transportation, because they have development of industry, that is why plains attract huge population. That is why they are most densely populated areas in the world. Plains have rich fertile soil, they have good development of transport network of industries. That is why it makes them to attract a lot of population, hence making them the most densely populated areas. So that is the importance of plains. Okay, how are plains important to us? Now next we will begin with the types of plains. Now, various types of planes are classified. The first type is a structural plane. Second, we have a erosional, and the third is a depositional plane. So, let us start with the first type of plane, that is a structural plane. From the word itself, it has a structure. Okay, so these planes are formed. How are structural planes formed? Due to the endogenic forces, the emergence or subsidence of land. So, because of the forces which are acting on the surface of the earth, such as folding and faulting, which can lead to emergence, meaning rising up of land, forming plains, or it can lead to subsidence of land, forming plains. That is how structural plains are formed. Please try to learn one example: Great Plains of USA. Alright, so that is how a structural planes are formed, because of the endogenic forces are leading to the rising of the surface or the subsidence of the surface. One example famous is the Great Plains of USA. The second type of plains are your erosional plains. As the name suggests, they are formed by the erosion caused by various agents of erosion, such as a river, glacier, and wind. So when river starts eroding the surface, that can lead to plain. When glaciers start eroding, that can lead to plain. When wind starts blowing away, it can lead to plains. All right, so these are your different ways of how erosional plains are formed. So let's learn about the different types of erosional plains. The first one, known as a penny plain. Penny plain, the word penny plain means almost plain, meaning it's a flat area, very gentle. And these type of plains are mostly developed along the coast. Alright, so penny plain is basically, a type of erosional plain which is mostly found in areas, hot and humid areas, where these plains are very very gentle and they are the best forms of plains found. Okay, that is why the name suggests it is means almost plain. Now, this picture shows you an exact formation of how penny planes are formed. If you look into the stages, first, if this is your land surface, okay, picture number one, so this is how it starts eroding first. Okay, then again it starts down cutting, leading to this area. Again the erosion action is very strong, and the final product here that is formed, which is almost plain, is your penny plain. When all the landforms have been eroded, and the final product, which is almost plain, is known as your penny plain. And please remember, penny plain is mostly found along the coastal areas in hot and humid regions. Okay, so that is what is called penny plain. That is the first type of erosional plane. Now, the second type of erosional plane is a Aeolian plane. These are basically planes developed due to the erosive action of wind. That is why we call it as Aeolian, meaning something to do with wind. So, they are mostly found in the deserts or in the arid region where the wind erosion is very, very powerful. As we all know, wind is the most important agent of erosion in the desert areas. So that is how Aeolian planes are formed, and one important feature in this is Peddi Plane. So Peddi Plane is basically a type of plane formed in the arid or semi-arid regions, okay, where including hill is eroded because of the action of wind. So this is how it starts eroding. This was a hill, starts eroding. Second process, again it starts eroding more further. Third, fourth, and the fifth product here. This is known as your this Peddi Plane. Okay, now pediplane will always have hard rock like formation projected in the form of steep sided rounded hills. So if you look into the picture here, the last one, this is your pediplane, and at both the side you will see a hard rock like hill projected out. They are known as inselbergs. Okay, inselberg, which means an island mountain. So inselbergs are basically the hard rock formations which remains projected out in the form of hill, just next to Peddi Plane. That is what is known as inselbergs. And pedoplain are always associated with areas which are dry and or arid. Okay, so please try to know the difference between penny plain and pedoplain. Penny plain and pedoplain, the formation is same, but penny plain is mostly along the coastal areas, hot and humid region, whereas pedoplain is mostly in the arid desert areas. Okay, and pedoplain will always have rock like projections at the side, like rounded topped hills, which are known as inselbergs. Now, next type of plain, because of erosional plain, is a glaciated plains. So glaciated plains basically here means, what are glaciers? If you, as we all know, what are glaciers? So glaciated plains are basically formed. How are glaciated plains formed? Glaciated plains are basically formed because of the action of glaciers. Okay, when glaciers, they rub against each other and they break down, that leads to the formation of glaciated plains. All right, so that is how glaciated plains are formed, because of the rubbing off of the glaciers. And example, the melting of these ice sheets, glaciers expose the land surface. When ice sheet starts melting, they expose the surface. And example, there's different lakes in Finland, in Canada, they've given you an example here. Okay, so I'll try to show you a picture of how glaciated plains look like because of the action of the glaciers, melting of the glaciers. Next type of erosional plains are the karst plains. So karst here means basically areas which are associated with limestone. All right, as we all know, limestone is one type of rock which is uh, you know more prone to weathering. So when limestone is dissolved in the acid, it is formed as carbon dioxide, which easily gets dissolved in rainwater. So when limestone starts eroding, they form a lot of different features like sinkhole. All right, there are different features like sinkhole form when limestone is eroded. There is something called bulge. All right, this is also formed. So they are basically type of plains, erosional plains, because of the erosion of limestone, leading to development of various landforms such as sinkhole and a bulge. All right, so these are your erosional plains. Now, moving to the last type of plains are your depositional. From the word itself, these are plains which are formed because of the deposition. Deposition is mostly brought by various agents like river starts depositing, isn't it? When river carries a lot of sediment, they deposit it somewhere. Glaciers, okay, breaking down of glaciers expose sea waves. The coastal areas always the swash bring a lot of sediments to the coast and deposits it. Even wind blows away the sand and deposits it somewhere. So all such landforms which are formed because of the deposition were of different agents are known as your depositional plains. Now, here are different types of depositional plain: floodplain, alluvial plain, deltaic plains. So, they are basically formed. How are they formed? Because of the deposition of alluvium. Alluvium is sand, silt, and clay, all right, which makes the soil very, very fertile. So, when these alluvium are brought down by river, they are starts depositing, okay, in the lower course of the river. At the time of floods, what happened? The river water spreads over nearby flat region, leading to floodplain. Okay, so if this is a river, look here, floodplain is just next to the river. How alluvium starts depositing, leading to the formation of floodplain. Next, this results in the deposition of fertile alluvial soil in this plain. As a result, most of these plains today are the most fertile regions of the world. All these North Indian plain, the Ganga plain, very famous, the Mississippi, these are very famous plains, and they are very rich in alluvium, okay, which is good for the growth of agriculturally it is very important region. So please try to remember one example of depositional plain. Okay, we can use Ganga plain, delta, Mississippi is another important example. Coastal plains, from the word itself, again these are found in the coastal areas, okay, because of the action of sea waves. Okay, when the sea comes to the shore, swash, carries a lot of sediment, deposits here. Okay, again it goes back, again it comes to the shore carrying a lot of sediments, starts depositing. So when these sediments start piling up, they form coastal plains. Okay, example, they've given example of different areas here. You can use any example something to do with coastal areas. Netherlands, they've used Germany as an example. Again, coastal plain may emerge due to the emergence of coastal region as well. Sometimes the coastal margin starts developing because of the excessive development of sediments. So that is how coastal plains are formed. Next, loess. Loess plains are basically when wind carries fine particles, which is known as loess, okay, from the interior of the desert and deposits them in the nearby region. If you look here, this is a desert. Wind carries the sediment from the desert and starts depositing it somewhere. So that is how a loess plain is formed. Okay, Pampas of Argentina. You can learn this as an example. And the last type is the outwash, which is also known as till plains. They are formed by the deposition of weathered material of glacier activities, which is a mixture of clay, pebble. Okay, so when clay, pebble starts depositing, which can be of various sizes, they start leading to the formation of plains. That is why they are known as outwash, meaning something that is deposited because of the action of the weathered or the eroded material. Okay, so this is about plains, the various types of plane. First being the structural plane. I'll just review what we've covered so far. Structural plane, where we learn structurally they are the most structured and very gentle plane form. And I give an example, Great Plains of USA. We learned about erosional plains, where the first was Peddi Plane, mostly around the coastal region. If you look here, this is the Peddi Plane and this is the coast here. So when coastal areas of Peddi Planes are formed, that is how the surface starts depositing a lot of sediments near the coast. That is how Peddi Planes are formed. Next, Peddi Plane, which is the action of wind, and I told you how inselbergs can develop in Peddi Plane, which is mostly in arid and semi-arid region. All right, glaciated. This is how a glaciate. If you look here, glaciers have led to the emergence of land because of the melting of the glaciers. That is how glaciated plains are formed. Karst plain, mostly on limestone. These are all limestone areas. So when limestones weathered, they form sinkhole caves. All right, these are different karst plains. Next, depositional plane, like a flood plain. I told you alluvial plain. So basically, mostly to do with rivers. When rivers starts depositing materials at the side, these are your alluvial deposit, which is also known as a flood plain. All right. So these are your different forms of depositional plains. So that is it. This is about planes, the various types of planes and formation. I hope you've understood. If you've not understood, please try to rewatch the video. And if you have any concerns or questions, please feel free to get back. Thank you for watching.